We'll go to our second presenter today, Hans Arby. Hans is the Chief Executive Officer of UbiGo, a subscription service providing everyday transport for households in Sweden, allowing them mobility without the need of a car. And this service combines public transport, car sharing, rental car service, taxi, and even bicycles. So we are eager to learn more about it. So, Hans, please.
Yes. Since everybody else is having a video, we also included a video. It's a short version of marketing and we used for recruiting test customers. Yeah. Sound.
Join us in our development of making an easy commuting service. We call this service UbiGo, and our goal is to make it easier and cheaper to take advantage of many commuting options. This service works like a digital punch card for the time spent using multiple forms of transportation, all in one app, all in one flexible subscription. From home to the office, you take the bus, maybe a rental bike for sunny days, a car from the car sharing to drop off the kids at practice, and a rental car for the weekends, a taxi home from the pub. It provides both personal service and in case of severe delays or mishaps, UbiGo sends a taxi. It's a commute that avoids all the time-consuming and costly drawbacks of owning a car. Further benefits of taking the environmentally friendly travel options are home delivery of groceries. UbiGo is a service developed by Project GoSmart, which is a collaboration between these partners. UbiGo has been tested in 70 households during the last 6 months with positive results. We are now preparing for the next phase. Follow us at www.ubigo.me.
That's it. This was a very short introduction. I will go back and start a little bit more of the big picture. That one, yeah. And that's about the challenge of climate change and also building sustainable and attractive cities. And that is something you can do by technology, but it also includes behavior of people. And when it comes to behavior, you can either use carrots, different kinds of subsidies and campaigns. You can use sticks, like road tolls and different regulation. But you can also use grease. The grease is making it easier for people to do the right thing, supplying them with a good service that will help them not use as much car. And also, if you look at the city, I mean, the city has a need of limit the use of car and also parking of car. But the households and companies, they have a need to get their everyday life going. So in this gap, you can bridge that with a service. And this gap is also a business opportunity and an area for innovation. So if you look at the private car, you can see them from Sweden, even though it's a Chinese company now. You can look at the car as a mobility insurance, which is quite good. It's very flexible. It's always there when you need it. You know how to use it. You can go everywhere with the car. It's a very good mobility insurance. But it is costly, lots of fixed costs, repairs. It's complicated in a big city to get rid of it when you want to park it. But this also means that if you want to compete with car ownership, you need to have a service that offers something at least as good. And offering something as good or better always has to do with saving time, saving money, saving mental energy, and also supporting personal image. And then, I mean, typically you talk about the multimodal trip. Getting people from A to B is important. But it's not enough. It's not about getting people from A to B. It's getting people, whole households, from morning to evening, from Monday to Sunday, from January to December. Because if you feel that you need a car for certain errands, enough of errands, you will buy a car. And if you have bought a car, you're stupid if you don't use it, because 50–60% is fixed cost by owning a car. So if you own a car, you will use it even for trips where there are better alternatives. So this is about not getting from A to B. It's about manage everyday life with at least as good today without having to own a car. And it's also about making money, because if a lot of these projects that are funded by public sectors, they wanted to test ideas and demo, do piloting, but if you don't have a business model and you don't know how to run a sustainable business on a service, it will not happen. You will get answers that people liked it, but it will never happen. And there is money in this. If you look at people paying like 30 to 40 euros for using the mobile phone, but they have a mobility budget that is perhaps 300 or 400 euros a month, so it's a lot of money. So the idea is, what you can do, what we thought of, what if you can procure everyday travel in volume, repackage it, and deliver it in a much easier way? So it's kind of a Spotify for everyday travel, or charter company for everyday travel. So if we say to the household, give us your mobility budget, we will go and negotiate and get a good deal for you, and we will keep a little bit of the money. So the thing is that the money lies in making it easier doing the repackage. It's not about integrating information. You can't make any money on information. It's not about technology, because that's the simple part. It's about doing this package good enough for the customers. We found that the best way of mimic the car ownership and also have a logic model for this is subscription, because it's something you are used to. And it's kind of, you know what it will cost you every month, but still very flexible compared to car ownership, because you can stop the subscription whenever you want without having to sell a car. So this is a little bit how it works. So you can view it as a mobile subscription, but instead of having a number of gigabytes of surf, number of minutes of calls, or number of SMS, this is a number of days in public transport, hours using car sharing, and so on. So it's very similar to mobile subscription. Different this is, when you haven't used up everything, you can save for the next month, and it's easy to top up when you run out of number of days in public transport and so on. It's a subscription that is based on households, so everybody in the household can use from their account what we call a digital punch card. So me and my wife, we had 30 days in public transport, so one morning I take a day off. I did a day of public transport in my phone, and my wife do the same thing. Everything is accessed through the smartphone, and then you get access to all the different services. And this is the companies we used during the test. And then we also we did a lot of things with the price models, making it more easier for the customers also. And then we added 24/7 support. We also, with the travel warranty, instead of having to call a cab, get the receipt and send it in to the public transport company, you just push the button and we send a taxi, and we took care of the paperwork also. And also we had a system for getting bonus. If you choose the more sustainable transport, you get the bonus points that you can use for movie tickets and so on. So this was the idea, and then the question is: do the customers agree that it's a good service, that it's easy to use, that it's price worthy? And since this is kind of a new concept, even though you've been talking about combined mobility for a long time, it's not something you can do a typical market research on. You can't go out in the street and say, this is something that you probably don't really understand. How much are you willing to pay? You don't get any real answers. So you need to get a proof of concept and test it for real. Either you have a lot of money, you're inside a big company, or you run it as a publicly funded project. And what you get by doing that is also that you get access to the public actors that you wouldn't have if you were inside a company. Public transport operators is very, very important in the city, and you can work with them in that kind of project. So that was what we did. We had a Go Smart project in Gothenburg, run by Lindholm Science Park, with partners like Volvo, Västervik, the city of Gothenburg, and we also have Chalmers. So we have this test is thoroughly evaluated by Chalmers in details, a lot of technical papers written on it even. So we tested this on 70 paying households for half a year. The average subscription were about 130 euros, different mixtures, because it's very flexible how the subscription you could choose. We were able to cover a little bit over 20 households for putting away their car, so we paid for the fixed cost. No one dropped out during this test period, and still, I mean, it was a beta version. We did everything in half a year. 80% said at the end of the test that they would like to continue use the service, continue being customers with the system as it was. 17% said, well, if you can fix, so can a car at my summer house for a month in the summer and so on, and 3% said no. And also interesting why they liked it. At the beginning of the test, the biggest reason for joining was curiosity. And also what we were able to do, we managed to get the early adopters on board, not the pioneers, not the, you can see the environment thing. It was, they were curious. They had high demand on just paying what they used, integrity of data and everything. So they were early adopters. So these were in the beginning. And in the end, it was convenience. More important than economy. Convenience was the main reason. And that's good if you want to make some money also, that it's convenience is more important than economy. They also said that it became easier to pay, they got control of their mobility cost, they get access to more modes of transport. And these were the top of mind words describing the service that they told us in a survey. This is very good. They also changed behavior. They changed mode of transport, planned their travel more. They used more car sharing, more public transport, more rental car, more taxi. And also afterwards the test, 50% said that they would keep on with a new behavior. And then you can say, well, that is good. But then you can run a campaign, because then kind of get over the edge. But 50% said, 30% that, yes, I will continue with my new behavior if it will be as easy as it has been, if the service would prevail. And 20% said no, because the service won't be there. So the service creates value. It's a value of being the middleman. Because we compete with car ownership, but we also compete with everybody taking care of the mobility mix by themselves. But almost 50% said it was a value having someone in between. So this means that we are kind of obligated to do something of this. So what we want to do is get this running in other big cities together with local partners, because we think you have to have a local partner. We are working with Ericsson to use their mobile phone platform as a mobility operator platform, which looks promising. We are cooperating with the Finnish initiative. As you heard, Finland is massive on this mobility as a service. And maybe we can do a NMT GSM story, a Nordic initiative. And thing is interesting, if you look at like a franchising concept with local partners, then if you have the same platform, or at least same standard in different cities, I can go to Leipzig or Rio de Janeiro or Paris using my Swedish subscription and going in rental car, taxi, and public transport. And when it comes to public transport, since at least some policymakers here, perhaps, a message, because public transport will always be the base of a service like this. The bulk of the travels, not the money perhaps, but the bulk of the travels will be public transport. Public transport is typically a monopoly. It's typically subsidized. And what we need to set up this in different cities is to unlock public transport, making it possible to be a reseller of travel, make it possible to repackage public transport. Because what we will do then is that we will induce innovation in this kind of traditional sector with a lot of different new modes and things in between public transport and private transport. So that's a very big message. And in Gothenburg, Västtrafik is doing a pre-commercial procurement with the aim of having a concession procurement. So that might be a good model. But making the public transport operator realizing that they're part of the ecosystem and they need to be open up for integrators such as UbiGo. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Hans. Thanks for this interesting insight on behavior change in mobility. I would say that starting with curiosity, ending with convenience is a pretty good achievement at this point. So hopefully we'll carry on.